Martrell Reeves was born on June 26, 1990 in Washington, D.C. He grew up in a not-so-great part of D.C., but had a relatively normal childhood. He would hang out with his friends and family around the block and tried his hardest to stay out of trouble. But eventually, the trouble would catch back up to him. This is the story of Fat Trel, the DMV's most notorious rapper. Now, Fat Trel would start his professional music career in 2009 when he was only 19 years old, and his music would commonly be about street stuff and talk about stuff he really went through because as he grew up, he was a real motherfucker. He was one of those guys, He was one of those guys. In 2010, he started his label Slutty Boys, which was formed with the members Fat Trel, Michi, Do Baby, P Wild, Booza, and would release music in tapes with them throughout the years. And only a year later, he would have his breakout hit called Respect Wit The Teck in 2011, produced by Lex Luger on his tape April Fools. This was kind of Trel's first big break, as this gave him a lot of attention to his name, and he was even given the title of the hottest rapper in the DMV in 2011, according to the list makers at WKYS-FM. Now, early on in his career, Trel would partake in service-oriented activities that would help people, like Bless the People, which was a non-profit started by his friend. Trel is really out here, he says he goes to high schools, I talk to the kids, I'm at the train station with them, kids shop with me, I eat with them, I'm at the mall, they come see me. Showing that, early on in his career, kids were looking up to Fat Trel, and he was kind of the hottest artist in the game. Now, after making waves almost exclusively in the DMV for a few years, he would become nationwide. He would sign to Rick Ross's record label, Maybach Music Group, on April 1st, 2014, and he would drop the mixtape Gleesh with a very explicit cover art. This was Fat Trel's first and last release on MMG. Trel would continue to drop with Rick Ross multiple times in the future, so their relationship stayed intact despite him only being on MMG for 1 year and one project. Now, there's a lot of projects to go through in Fat Trel's discography, but I think the point is he stayed consistent, dropped yearly, sometimes multiple times a year from 2009 to the present, despite him being locked up multiple times, which we will get to. He would be a guest appearance on plenty of names early on in his career, both legends from the DMV and not from the DMV like Juicy J, Young Dolph, Young Thug, Wale, Chief Keef, even ASAP Mob, etc. Now, during this time, Trel was both a DMV legend, both musically and on the street. Now, soon he would run into some trouble with the law, and listen, there's a lot of stuff that I could deep dive on Trel's career and go into that he's done in the past, but I ain't the police, bro. I ain't the police. If you want to research, his ties and allegations, you can do that. But I'm here to talk about what's on the paper because, we're going through Fat Trel's career, and like I said, I'm not the police. In March 2016, he was arrested for using counterfeit money at a casino, and he would shortly be released for that. But in April 2016, he was arrested again for driving while intoxicated, narcotics distribution, speeding, and other charges in Arlington County. He was released on September 22nd, 2017, where he recorded nearly 250 songs in jail. In 2018, after being released from prison, Fat Trel told XXL he was sober, and his mixtape Finally Free was the first mixtape he produced sober. He describes the challenges of quitting lean and cited the death of fellow rapper, friend, and collaborator Fredo Santana as a wake-up call. So it seemed that Trel was, he was bettering his life at this point. Until July 2018, where Fat Trel was pulled over in Maryland for traffic violations and had his vehicle searched. Now, the police found a .40 caliber Ghost gun pistol with 10 rounds of ammunition in the car. Fat Trel told the police the weapon was his, and he was arrested. He faced a maximum of 10 years in federal prison and pleaded guilty on September 22nd, 2020, and on October 15th in late 2021, Fat Trel was released from prison due to time served. So hey, it seems he got off again. Surely he can stay out of trouble this time. 2 months later, December 2021, he was booked at Arlington County Sheriff's Office for 4 counts of revocation on a suspended sentence and probation in connection to a 2018 arrest. Now, if things couldn't look more down for Fat Trel at this time, Slutty Boys member Booza was unfortunately shot and killed in 2021, and on January 14, 2022, he was sentenced to over a year and a half in prison. On November 21st, 2022, Fat Trel was finally released from prison, and, he had a warm welcome from Rick Ross, claiming he was MMG forever, which is pretty cool to see, despite, them not working out on their contract, they're still collaborating throughout the years. Rick Ross welcomed him home, and he, put the permanent stamp on him, which, I thought was really interesting. Now, despite being locked up for a large chunk of his career, you would never guess looking at his Spotify page, as, like I said early on in the video, he has been constantly dropping. Just looking at this page, you would never be able to guess what years he was locked up, because this man has been steady putting out music, grinding in and out of prison, and it's showing that despite this man being part of the streets, getting in trouble, you know, he still cared about his community, doing his community work, and he still cared about music above all, no matter what, and put the art above everything, which I think is incredibly respectable. Now, he hasn't run into any problems since then, and he's been going on a little bit of a mainstream run recently. I mean, he's had features on Logic's album, on IDK's album. I know they're both from the DMV, but he seems to be getting a lot of attention now that he's out of jail, and hopefully he stays out of trouble in the future. So that was a little video I wanted to put together on Fat Trel's career. You know, he's a very interesting artist that I just got put onto recently, and I see him live next month opening for Logic, so I cannot wait to see him then. But, you know, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you subscribe to the bell so you don't miss any videos, any updates, anything like that. You know, I do lots of hip-hop related content on here, not just video essays. I do news, I do tier lists, I do all kinds of stuff. Make sure you go in the description, follow my TikTok, my Spotify, my Twitter, my Instagram, and get that weekly updated New Music Friday playlist down there, and join my Discord down there too. And yeah, it's been Bryce. Peace.
Come up with that hot shit, all they do is talk shit. You can never stop it, boy, just stop. High-end drug, call that HD vision. All these other motherfuckers full of indecision. Music flowing through your city like drug money. Made a meal off rap, fuck drug money. And now you hit me like I got you whatever you need.